Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome. Today we're going to take a look in this video at a comic strip that I made during Operation Desert Storm. And I drew it in this Strathmore sketchbook that was sent to me from my sister. And I started drawing in this book. And at the beginning, I came up with an idea of making a comic strip. I drew all this on my bunk in my tent with my friends sitting around me. I had never, had always been a comic book fan, of course, and everything, but I had never done something like this, and I threw it together very, very quickly. Very quickly. It was only 6 panels that I drew. Right, hold on, let me look over here. There they are. I've got all 6 panels, the finished panels, but this was the beginning. So at the beginning I came up with 2 characters, Aknad and Mo, and they were the Desert Ratz. This is Mo, short for Muhammad, and this is Aknad. The idea, I wrote the Desert Ratz. I wrote Desert Rat Rap, Shit in Pro Mask, and then I wrote Care Package. These were ideas for strips. The Flyboys. This is an idea of some secondary characters that would be flies. They would medevac to fly strip, refuel, daytime sortie. These are different ideas of how I was going to draw them. And then right here is the Desert Ratz Rap that I wrote that became the comic strip. This is, I threw this one upside down. This was something for somebody that I drew on the other side. But so then this is my first rough draft of the Desert Ratz, the Desert Ratz Rap. So there they are. It says, "We're the Desert Ratz. I'm Aknad. I'm Mo. We arrived on the scene to begin our show." So then it goes on, and you can see I kind of did this rough thing, and there's my 6 panels, and there's my joke at the end. And then it kind of goes on. So then I finished this. Once again, I'm drawing all of this only just for me and my friends. It's just for me and my 4 or 5 friends that live with me in this tent. So I finished the 6 panels, and here's what the 6 finished panels look like. El Barrio Productions presents. That's our El Barrio, that's the name of our tent. The Desert Ratz in MC Ratz Rap, Aknad and Mo. It says, "Well, we're the Desert Ratz. I'm Aknad, I'm Mo. We arrived on the scene to begin our show. We'll invade your tents and we'll munch your treats. We'll play nasty pranks whilst yous guys are asleep. We're buddies forever, pals to the end. You can try to trap us, but listen, friend, we're tough, yo." Slap. "Well, the clock says we have to end our rhyme 'cause we're Muslim rats. Stop. Mecca time." And this is me down here, Piscato. And I wrote DS91. That stands for Desert Storm 91. So I do this. And it's just me and my friends, but at the same time as I'm doing this, I might have mentioned this before, but if you're new to this is the first video you've ever seen, I was also drawing on people's t-shirts. I think we'll probably find stuff in here. These are sketches for what people wanted me to draw. This was a guy who wanted me to draw a werewolf or something. Here's Saddam Hussein full of bullet holes. Here's the scarab. So eventually, I'm drawing these t-shirts and I draw this comic, and then this guy from this newspaper comes and he says, "I'm doing this newspaper. It's called the Scarab. It's just a 1-sheet paper that we're putting out. And I was wondering if you could draw a logo for me. It's called the Scarab." And so this is the logo that I drew for him, and I think he actually used it. He used it. And see, look, here's a shirt. Here's a design. I remember this shirt. So what I would do is guys would tell me what they wanted, and then I would draw it on pencil in here, and then they would give me their shirts and pay me $20, and I would draw the finished product on a brown Army T-shirt with a Sharpie marker, waterproof laundry marker, and I would just freehand it on there. And so I would just do these sketches as an idea. He'd be like, I really want this hot bikini girl, and I want it to say Saudi summer, this guy wanted. And so I said, okay, here's what it's going to kind of look like. I'll make the girl look a little bit better. She'll look hotter, but this is the idea. This is how it'll turn out. Is that cool? He's like, yeah, sure. So here's some more that I did later. So then the guy from the newspaper, he says, can you draw a comic strip for the paper? And I said, yeah, I've already drawn one. And so I show it to him, and he says, I really like this. This is really good. The Desert Ratz rap. He thought it was funny. He thought these 6 panels together were funny. So this is what the paper looked like. This is a copy of the paper. See, look up here. Here's my drawing. This is what the paper was like. Here's some other drawings by other people that weren't good. And then here's where look at how small he put the Desert Ratz. So the Desert Ratz ends up in this corner really small, but it ends up becoming like a big hit. So like people that I don't know at all are like, Pescado, man, stop, mecha time, that's hilarious, that's so funny, it's so hilarious. So now it's not necessarily a good thing, because now there's people that know me and know that I can draw, and they know that I drew this. So you don't necessarily always want to know, you don't necessarily always want people to know who you are and what you're able to do when you're in the Army. But anyway, some time passes, I draw more of these. Like, here's another one. So here's another one for another issue of the Scarab. This is the Desert Ratz This is the Desert Ratz in Gas Mask Boogie. So here we go. Late last night, while yous guys were asleep, into your tent did Mo and I creep. See, you look at the tent. It's our tent. See, it says El Barrio. You see the sign in the background? That's the sign that I made with Pacific Grove on it and everybody else's hometowns on there. See that? We ate some of your chow and messed with your stuff, but you know what we did wasn't nearly enough. Look what they're doing. After that scud alert, you left your mask out to dry, so we took advantage of where it did lie. Psst, hey Mo. We left you a gift that you'll like, we think. It's wet and it's warm with a real sweet stink. Bzzz. Does it say at the bottom? Translated from Fly. Hey dudes, chow time. So yeah, they pooped and peed in some dude's protective mask. This is Chip Chipperson reporting live from what's left of Iraq. So this is the fellow cartoonists I was competing with. I wasn't really competing. I was just drawing this because it was fun and this guy asked for it. So then more time passes and another guy shows up, and it's a friend of mine, and he says, hey man, I was just in Duran and I got you this entry slip for this Desert Storm cartooning contest. And I'm all, what? And he says, yeah man, you're the best one, and nobody else's stuff is as funny as yours. And I was all, really, you think so? And he said, yes. So I fill out the form. I had to mail in my original art. That's why these are, look at these copies. These copies were made on a Xerox machine in the desert. So I had to cut the original 6 panels, these 2 pieces. I had to mail them to Washington, D.C., to DOD. Probably went to the Pentagon or something, to some public relations office. And then months pass. Months. And we're like, the war's over, and we're already back in the United States. And a friend of mine goes, dude, I just saw the Desert Ratz in Army Times. And I was all, what? And he said, yeah, man, you're in the Army Times. And so I go, and that's another bummer that I don't have. So I looked through, and I found some other. I couldn't find the Army Times that I'm in, but so I'm like, holy crap, I'm in the Army Times. And so then it turns out that I won the contest. So the lady from Washington, D.C. had been trying to call me, but I never answered her calls. I never took. So people were taking messages, and they're like, Sergeant Piscato, call Sergeant Jackson at DOD. And I wasn't even taking them out of my box because I just thought they were just Post-it notes of just bullshit. I completely forgot about this contest. I forgot all about it. The lady had been trying to contact me for like a month or 2 months to tell me that I won first prize. And first prize was I was in the Army Times and I won a check for $2,000. It was a $2,000 check, which was a lot of money in 1991 or 1992, whenever this was. Anyway, that's the whole story of the Desert Ratz. So I won first place. That's it, man. Let's look what else I did in here. Maybe we'll look more at the paper too. So this was this idea that I had. This is me writing the stuff, and then these are ideas that weren't necessarily very funny. Okay. This says, one more for the road. It says, hey, Mo, what do you call an Iraqi with a goat under one arm and a sheep under the other? Bisexual. Does that even make sense? I guess because he's like having sex with a sheep and a goat, I think is what the implications is. A lot of this humor is pretty racist. Like, is Mecha Time okay now? Would this be okay? Maybe you don't even understand this joke and fully understand that at the time that I wrote this and made this comic, there was this guy named MC Hammer. And MC Hammer had a big hit called Hammer Time. And rap was actually fairly new. Hip-hop was a new thing in 1990, 1991. I mean, by new, I mean it's less than 10 years old. It's only been around for 5 or 6 years in the mainstream or something like that, if even that long. It's like pretty new it's new in pop music. Really, I mean, like it's the beginning, like maybe MTV Raps is just starting or something. In Living Color is a whole new show, maybe. It just started on Fox. Anyway, this is a new thing. And it's very topical, and people thought it was really funny. They really liked this. You can see that I didn't even know how to. I thought it was Muslim. I spelled it Muslim instead of the way we spell it Muslim now. But in 1991, I'm spelling it Muslim. Isn't that interesting? So I went with like a classic thing. I went with a skinny rat and a fat rat. One nose is drooping down. One is angular and pointy. He just has a regular like Ali Haji thing on his head, rag, and this guy has a different. He's got the checkered do-rag that I came up with. And then this panel, this is the kicker. People thought it was funny, but maybe it's kind of racist or something now. I don't know. It didn't feel racist then. Nobody seemed bothered by it. There was even a friend of mine who was actually a Muslim, who was in the army. And he was a Muslim, and he was a part of our unit. He was our armorer, of all things. Can you imagine? Yeah, so we let the one guy who was a Muslim was in charge of all of our guns. It's totally true. That's how unbigoted and biased we were towards other people of other faiths. So I wasn't trying to. This wasn't a joke about. Is this a joke about the religion? It's not. This was something that was new and funny to us because we are just learning that these people have 5 times a day that this alarm goes off and they all have to stop and pray. So that's what the joke is. Well, the clock says we have to end our rhyme because we're Muslim rats. Stop. Mecca time. So instead of stop hammer time, it's stop Mecca time because they all have to face towards Mecca and they have to pray. Probably tasteless and racist or something. I don't know. It won first place. Seriously, the people in the Department of Defense and the Pentagon picked my cartoon over everybody else's. But granted, most of the other ones, everything else I saw was kind of lame. Picture, if you will, a housewife in Ogdensburg, New York, suddenly feels a sharp pain in her leg. Huh. Where's the joke? Sorry about that, Batman. Yeah, here it is. Quickly, she looks down to discover, much to her chagrin, her 3-year-old son has placed a searing hot steam iron on her leg. Strange, but explained. Oh, look, he has a turtle shirt on, which was a whole new thing. So this is just really stupid. I was trying to be funny, but I wasn't funny at all, but the art isn't terrible. Picture, if you will, in the local male stand-up only, Private Parts is relieving himself when suddenly he feels a sharp burning sensation. Arg! Male stand-up only. This is a latrine. This is a diesel burning shitter. At the exact same time, in the 8th evac lab, a startling discovery is made. Strange, but explained. Private Parts, positive, rare camel-transmitted gonorrhea urinalysis results. Strange, but explained. So it was strange that this guy was using the restroom and then he screamed in pain. And it turned out it was explained that he had a positive results for camel-transmitted gonorrhea. On the night of February 25th, 1991, a Scud missile struck a U.S. Army barracks in Tehran. 29 Americans were killed and over 100 wounded. Meanwhile, somewhere back in the States, an American is stumped with a perplexing question. Strange but explained, or is it? Express lane, 12 items or less. Would you like that in paper or plastic, sir? He's got a shirt that says no blood for oil. So I guess I'm trying to be funny politically, like about the idea that we're dying over there in the war, that people had just died, just like a day or two, or maybe the day that I did this comic or something. That's what this is all about. Me being angry about the bombing at the barracks in Tehran. And that was done by terrorists. It wasn't a military action from the Iraqi army. It was done most likely by Saudi Arabian terrorists. But this was something new. Paper or plastic. So paper or plastic, and then he's got a support our troops sign with money with dollar signs. So paper or plastic was something new, like some sort of a luxury thing in my mind, that you could have a choice of whether you wanted your bags to be paper or plastic. I'm not sure. Look and see, I've got express lane, 12 items or less, and he's got the... So, I was resentful of the civilian world. I didn't like you guys. Well, thanks for joining me on my journey. Until next time, oh yeah, I almost forgot the disclaimer. All views expressed in Mysteries of the Strange But Explained, whether they be political, moral, or sexual, are exclusive to El Barrio Productions and in no way reflect the views of the Scarab 8th Evac Hospital of the Department of the Army. Thank you for your scroll support. So they didn't put this one in the paper. This is kind of cool. I did this. This is colored pencils, it looks like. This is for a while I was into doing, I wanted to, so I would make, if I saw a movie that I really liked, like this is The Amazing Mr. X from Samba Pictures Incorporated. If I saw a movie that I really liked, Turhan Bey is in this, then I would make my own movie poster. Oh, and Kathy O'Donnell is in this. That's probably the main reason. This is probably supposed to trying to be Kathy O'Donnell up here. I thought she was hot. Anyway, I'm having a hard time with the camera. Let me lift it up. So anyway, here's what I would do. I would watch a movie and I would think, I really liked that movie, but it's an old movie, right? And I would make my own movie poster from the movie that I had just watched. Do you understand? That's what this is. Huh. This is a cool Frankenstein that my son drew. I didn't draw this. My son drew this. It's very good. My kids are very artistic. Hey, I think that's about it, you guys. We talked about the Desert Ratz, and we talked about how I won this cartooning contest, and how they kept my art. I never got it back. It was part of the deal. I had to sign a thing. I had to sign a release. I had to sign this release that, that this is my original art and everything, and I had to give it to the Army, like the Army owns it. So maybe somewhere, just like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, just like where the Ark is at the end of the movie, somewhere in the Pentagon, perhaps if it didn't get blown up on 9/11, is a file that has the 2 original pages of the Desert Ratz MC Ratz rap. But for now, until I'm reunited with the original art, all we have are the 2 copies that I made that day in the desert on the Xerox machine in the admin office. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed taking a look at Akhnad and Mo and listening to my story about how I won a $2,000 check. And it was a lot of money at the time, but honestly, money wasn't even a worry to me, so I can remember it not even being a big deal. That was the other thing I forgot to tell you, is that I didn't think that at the time. Now I think this is really cool and it's a big deal. But when I was doing this was just a very minor part of my life. My job was all encompassing. I had tremendous responsibility. Then I also had a whole other adult grown up social life, and I had a expensive car and an apartment, and it was so, and I was doing well financially. So that $2,000 check that was, that I put in my account was just it wasn't a big deal to me at the time. Even though it was a lot of money, it was, I was doing okay financially. There was plenty of other money that was in the account, so I wasn't like running out of money ever. So it was good, but I never followed up on any of this. Like even the lady, I forgot to tell you that as well. So the lady that I talked to in D.C. that called me, she paid me a lot of compliments. She said that I should get a portfolio together. She wanted me to send her all my stuff